Hello everyone, I am Umayma Sitini, a PhD student at the University of Qadi Iyad in Morocco. First of all, I would like to thank you for the opportunity you have given to present our work. So for that, my representation is going to focus on towards the detection of fake news patterns using multi-classification of unlabeled data. The most important point I would like to talk about are an introduction and a brief literature review. Then we start with our research problematic and research objective. After that, we switch to our research methodology and the proposed solution. Before concluding, we examine our research result and we conclude with the research perspective. As an introduction, social media is widely used and drive almost every aspect of our daily lives. Every day, millions of people consume their internet searching for news. Social media has encountered several challenges by distributing various kinds of fake news information. This digital misinformation is spread through online social communities in the form of share, reshare, and repost, and can have different patterns. Some express humor and presented in a deliberately entertaining and exaggerated tone, while some are serious and create doubt in public, like manipulation, which means the decontextualization of the news, like also manufacturing, which represent a content without a factual basis, replicating the journalistic register to obtain credibility and visibility. And the last one, like propaganda, which means the action of disseminating and propagation of fake or false idea. As a theoretical background, there are four kinds of classification: binary classification, multi-label classification, multi-class classification, and imbalanced classification. In this representation, we will focus just on multi-class classification, which means a classification task with more than two classes. For example, classify set of image of fruits, which may be orange, apple, or pear. Multi-class classification makes the assumption that each sample is assigned to one and only one label. A fruit can be either an apple or pear, but not both at the same time. The identification of misinformation has received much interest from various perspectives, where research works based on supervised learning dominates this domain. But what about the semi-supervised learning or unsupervised learning? So for this reason, we examine a lot of primary research questions, starting by how to effectively detect the form of fake news using multi-class classification, switching to how to perform multi-class classification using unlabeled data, moving to how to improve the self-training algorithm for multi-class classification, and as a last question, how to differentiate between different fake news forms. So all these research questions direct us to our research problematic. So as I told you before, detecting fake news using supervised learning has achieved good success. Several kinds of research aim at detecting them by using only labeled data. But what about the semi-supervised learning or the unsupervised learning? The second one, most studies focus on detecting fake or real news as a binary classification. The third one, other studies focus on a single type or fake news. And the last one, some works concentrate upon classifying 2 or 3 types of rumors. Today, several systems have been developed for detecting fake news. However, they are not precise enough to fulfill the information of people. Therefore, it is necessary to build high quality of system. Moreover, the objective of our research can be classified into 4 main ideas. The first one, differentiate between fake news forms. The second one, perform multi-class classification using unlabeled data. The third one, improve self-training algorithm for multi-class classification. And the last one, differentiate between classification types. So the purpose of our research is to provide a model that helps user to detect forms of fake news when there is a lack of labeled data. So our research methodology can be categorized as 3 steps. The first one, the input phase, the second one, the processing phase, and the last one, the output phase. Starting with the first phase, the input step, we use 2 kinds of fake news identification datasets. So the first one contains 3 types of fake news: satire, propaganda, and manufacturing, and the second one contains manipulation form. Secondly, it's about processing step. We use the vectorization and recommender system as a pre-multi-classification step to boost and enhance the self-training algorithm used for multi-class classification. Thirdly, it's about the output phase, which contain predicted classes of the given news text with the percentage of each one. So our proposed solution contains 5 essential steps that are described as below. The first one, similarity detection, then voting majority, and then pre-multi classification, and then the recommendation, and the last one is the multi-class classification. So starting by the similarity phase. So this phase includes transforming each unlabeled news item into a vector using Word2Vec with the calculation of similarity percentage. The second is about the voting majority phase. So firstly, the model is trained on the labeled data, and then we use this pre-trained model to predict labels for the unlabeled data by using 5 classifiers. So the most frequent prediction is then assigned to the unlabeled news as a second prediction. And then the pre-multi-class classification phase. In this step, we have 2 predicted types, one for similarity with the percentage of similarity, and the other for the voting majority. And then the recommendation phase, which precedes the last phase, it's about the recommendation for news that have the same types on the first 2 steps are added to the labeled dataset. So this phase is like an enhancement or a boosting step to be sure for all items that will be added to the dataset. And the last one is about the multi-class classification, in which we use the self-training algorithm as a semi-supervised learning algorithm. Our research result proved that the efficiency of our proposed approach, moving from 76% as a first accuracy in the first dataset similarity to 96% in the dataset for self-training algorithm. In a summary, a lot of progress has been made on the multi-class classification for detecting fake news forms. So let's move and conclude with some research perspective, which we hope to do it in our future work. The first one is about the construction of a platform for the detection of different forms of fake news. The second one is add other forms of news like parody form. And last one, make some more improvement method to effectively select unlabeled instances to evaluate the proposed approach. And thank you for your attention. I am here for any question.